Alright, let's get into the 16th, ratifying the Constitution. So, we've written this thing. Now what? Well, now we gotta ratify it. That means to formally approve and make it official, and there's a couple ways we can do this. First, we could just ratify the Constitution as is. That's what the Federalists wanted. The Federalists were people like James Madison and Alexander Hamilton who said, hey, let's get this thing ratified. It's great the way it is. Why? Well, they believed that the new Constitution was a vast improvement over the Articles of Confederation. Under the Articles, the central government was weak and the states were strong. But the Federalists argued that under the new Constitution, there would be a strong central government and the states would be weaker. And that was good because they believed that a strong central government was necessary to keep order in the nation and protect the rights of the people. Plus, they argued that the Constitution had a number of checks and balances built in to prevent any one branch of government from becoming too powerful. So don't worry about the central government becoming tyrannical. Also, they pointed out that most states required only a simple majority to ratify the Constitution, while a handful of states, including their own, required a supermajority. So, if we could get 9 states to ratify it, then the Constitution would be officially adopted and the objections of the remaining states would become irrelevant. But others weren't so sure. They were the anti-federalists. And they said, hey, we need to add some amendments to this bad boy before we ratify it. What kind of amendments? Well, they wanted what became known as the Bill of Rights, which would list specific rights that the people had, such as the right to free speech, the right to bear arms, the right to a trial by jury. In other words, they wanted the Constitution ratified but with a Bill of Rights. And this was not a small debate. There were state conventions held across the country to discuss the issue. The Federalists wrote a bunch of papers arguing for the adoption of the Constitution as is. They were called the Federalist Papers, and they won the day. 9 states ended up ratifying the Constitution, and the new government was formed, but it was a close call. And the debate over the Constitution revealed fundamental disagreements between the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. The Federalists, who eventually became the Democratic Republicans, believed in a strong central government and a national bank and loose interpretation of the Constitution. While the Anti-Federalists, who eventually became the Whigs, believed in more limited government, less regulation of the economy, and a strict interpretation